Students, welcome to the class of economics, class 10, chapter number 2, sectors of economy. This is the part 1 of this lecture or of this chapter, that is the sectors of economy, and we will try to understand the various sectors of economy that is working in our country. So, first we will understand the mind map of the chapter. Mind map of the chapter means what we are basically going to learn in this chapters. So, in this chapter, students, we will learn about 4 major things. Means altogether this chapter can be divided into 4 major things. Number 1, first we will learn about the sectors of economic activities. Number 2, importance of tertiary sector and employment. The second concept. The third concept in this chapter, we will learn about organized and unorganized sector. What is organized sector? What are unorganized sector? What are its merit to the employees? What are its demerits? All that. And just like in the fourth segment also, we will learn about public sector and private sector in great detail. So, in this chapter, basically we will learn about these 4 concepts. Now, there are number of activities, students, that happened around us. How can we classify them? Many activities are carried on around us. If you see, if you watch, somebody is playing, somebody is riding, somebody is eating, somebody is sleeping. A numerous of activities goes on in our day-to-day life, and we see it happening everywhere. But the question comes that how can we classify those activities? There must be some parameters to classify those activities. So, let's find out. So, this chapter can be divided into 3 parts. On the basis of activities, if we divide the various activities, we can divide, in this chapter we can divide it into 3 major categories or parts. First, on the basis of economic activities. So, the first category that we are dividing the work is that the works that depends, or the work that is done in economic activities. So, on the basis of economic activities, if we divide in economic activities, again 3 classifications are there. First one is primary sector. The other name of primary sector is agricultural sector also. Second, secondary sector or industrial sector, and third one is the most important, tertiary sector or service sector. Why I had told most important, that you will come to know as we proceed in the chapter. So, on the basis of economic activity, we classify the activities into 3 parts: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Second, on the basis of working conditions of laborers, the work that is divided keeping in mind the working conditions of the laborers, it is taken as basis. So, on the basis of working condition of laborers, we can distribute the work into 2 parts, that is C, organized sector and unorganized sector, and third one, as we had told, that we can classify the economic activities into 3 parts on the basis of economic activity. Number 1, that is primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Second one, on the basis of working conditions of laborers, that is organized and unorganized sector, and the third one is on the basis of ownership of resources. Ownership, who is the owner of the relevant or respective resources. So, if we are dividing the task on the basis of ownership of resources, in that we will learn about public sector and private sector. So, firstly we will take up the first classification, that on the basis of economic activities. In that, first one is primary sector. Now, we will understand the primary sector in detail. So, to have a clear concept about primary sector. While going in boards or while going in examination, you will not have any doubt regarding this. So, the concept must be clear over here. So, what is primary sector? In primary sector, we include those goods. Listen very carefully. In primary sector, we include those goods which we receive directly from the nature or natural resources, or when we produce goods by exploiting natural resources. This is called primary sector. Now, we will make it simple that in primary sector, what are the things we include or what are the things we receive? Whatever things we are receiving under primary sector is a natural resource or is a gift of natural resource, or with the help of using exploiting natural resource means with the help of using those natural resource which are able to produce anything, just like wheat. To grow wheat, soil is required. Soil is a natural resource. Sunlight is needed. It is also a natural resource. A good climatic condition is needed. It is also a natural resource. So, a combine of all these three gives us the output as wheat in primary sectors. So, in primary sector, whatever the things we are getting it directly from the nature or by exploiting natural resources. As most of the economic activities in this sector are related to, in which sector? In primary sector. Most of the economic activities are related to agriculture. That is why it is called or it is known as agricultural sector. In this sector or in the primary sector, mostly the goods that are produced are related to agriculture. Most of the things you will see in primary sector, most of the things that we are getting from the primary sector, most of the goods are related to agriculture. How? That we will understand with the help of an example. Example, take for cotton plant. For the cultivation of cotton, two natural resources are mostly required: sunlight, water. I will include black soil also, because cotton grows very well in the most suited soil for growing cotton is black soil. So, what are the natural resources we require to grow cotton? Sunlight, water and soil. We exploit these resources, which is very much essential for the production of cotton. And if we exploit these resources, means if any of these resources like sunlight is present, soil is also present, black soil is there, but water is not present, it will not help. So, in the absence of any of these, the production of cotton will not be possible. So, we exploit these resources or those resources which is essential for that product, which is just like for cotton, sunlight, water and black soil is needed. For wheat, there are other conditions and parameters that are needed. Now, I think you are understanding it, that how the products are related to agriculture in primary sector. Similarly, take second example. First example we have taken of cotton. Second example, dairy farming. Those who supply the milk products. We are dependent on the biological process of the animals and availability of fodder. In order to do dairy farming or in order to obtain milk from the animals, just like cows, buffaloes, do we get milk throughout the year from that particular animal? If we are keeping 5 to 10 cattle, just like cow or buffaloes, then it is there that in some month there is a continuous flow of milk in that region. But if a person is having a single cow or a buffalo, is it possible for him to get milk throughout the year from the same cattle? No, because to get milk or in order to obtain milk from the animals, and milk is a biological process. Whenever they give birth to their young ones, then only milk is obtained from any cattle. So, and giving birth to young one, it is a biological process, it is a natural process that happens naturally. It is not in the hand of humans. So again we are proving that how the products, just like milk is also related to natural resource, because to obtain milk, it depends upon the biological process of the animal and the availability of fodder. Fodder is the food for animals. Whether if we are keeping animals and if the fodder is not present, or if the food that is needed to fetch the cattle is not present, the cattle will also not survive. So availability, so in order to obtain milk, or in the case of dairy farming, it depends upon two things. One, biological process of the animal, that is completely a natural process. Second, availability of fodder, it is also a natural process and humans don't have control over it. So all these things are directly obtained from the nature. In the second example also we all have proved. Now the product which we receive here in dairy is milk, also a natural resource. Similarly, minerals and ores are also natural resource. The minerals that we get from digging the mines, just like coal, all these are natural resources and exhaustible in nature also. Now the question comes that why is it called a primary sector? Why agriculture sector is called a primary sector? The answer to this will be that because it forms the base platform for all the other products of secondary as well as tertiary sector. Why agricultural sector is called a primary sector? The answer will be that because it provides a base or a platform for all other products that is being produced in secondary sector or tertiary sector. Example of natural resource: agriculture, dairy, fishing, it is also called pisciculture, rearing of silkworms means growing silkworms, it is also known as sericulture, forestry, quarrying means cutting down the stones in big stones are cut down in various shapes and sizes in small stone chips also, that is a part of quarrying. So these all are the example of the natural resource. But how the product of the primary sector that we are discussing forms the base or the platform for all other product of secondary and tertiary sector? I will give you one example. Just take for wheat. Wheat is a primary sector product, agricultural product. It is obtained directly from nature with the help of sunlight, water and the climatic condition which is required, best suitable to grow wheat. So wheat is the primary sector product, and how it act as a base to secondary as well as tertiary, that once the wheat is produced, it is to be transported to the factory. To take the wheat from the field to the factory, transportation is needed. Transportation is a part of service sector. They are providing you the service, that they are taking your wheat from your farm and they are reaching out there in the factory with your wheat. So the service they are providing, but obvious that they will charge for that, but in return of that charge they are also providing you service. So, and let's imagine if there is no wheat, what do the transporters will do? So without wheat, they can't transport anything to the factory. We are taking the example of wheat here, so we are talking about wheat. So wheat act as a base. Without wheat, the service sector will also suffer. Now the wheat has reached to the factory, that is the secondary sector, industrial sector concerned with manufacturing only. In factory, the wheat is grinded into flour, and from that flour, bread, different products such as biscuits, cakes are prepared. So again, wheat has it is proved that wheat is taken as a base for the secondary sector to work, because if the wheat is not there, from where do the flour will be grinded, from where do the biscuits or the breads will be manufactured. So primary sector act as a base for all other products of secondary sector as well as tertiary sector. Understood? It is for your knowledge that in India, nearly 70% of the total population depends on agriculture. This must be kept in mind while reading this chapter, that around 70% of the total population of India depends on agriculture, and that's why India is also known as agricultural country also. Now coming back to the second part of the secondary sector. What is secondary sector? Primary sector, I think you must have understood. Give a reading and you will be able to understand, because I had presented in the simplest manner for you to understand. So the secondary sector, this sector comes after the primary sector. So after primary sector, secondary sector comes, that is also called as industrial sector. It includes what activities are included in secondary sector? It includes all those economic activity in which all natural resources or products are changed into other forms. Just as we had taken the example of wheat, when the wheat reached the factory, the form has changed from cereals, the form has changed to a powder. When it is grinded, it becomes a powder. So the form has changed, and from the powder, bread, again the form changed, biscuit, again the form changed. So this is the process. And how the form changes? By the way of manufacturing, because in factory mostly manufacturing is done in factory only. Products in this sector or in the secondary sector is not produced by nature. Biscuit, not at all produced by nature, it is produced by humans in the factory. Wheat is produced by nature. So products, biscuits are the product of the secondary sector. Bread, it is a product of secondary sector, not produced by nature, it is produced by us. Wheat is produced by nature, just like that, but has to be made, and therefore the process of manufacturing is essential. So mainly the secondary sector is concerned with the manufacturing process only. That is also why it is also called industrial sector. Example of secondary sector: factory, workshop. At home also many small scale manufacturing work is done. So these are the examples of secondary sector. We will now, to have a more clear understanding about secondary sector, see, we use sugarcane. Sugarcane, primary product from nature we obtain to make sugar. The form has changed from sugar cane to sugar or gur. So it is the sugar cane has been processed or manufactured, and then only. So sugar cane is the primary product, sugar or gur is the secondary product. As this sector is associated with different kinds of industries, so other name of this sector is industrial sector, because manufacturing is done over here. Secondary sector is nothing, in simple language, if you have to define secondary sector, that secondary sector is nothing but transforming the new materials into a useful product, just like transforming cotton into yarn or thread and then transforming into cloth. So, useful material has been made, transforming wheat to flour and flour to bread and cake. Useful material has been made. So, it is nothing but transforming new material into useful product which is useful for humans. Tertiary sector, it is also called the important sector. So, among the primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, nowadays or in the modern world, tertiary sector is considered to be the most important sector in economy, because it provides, why it is most important, because it provides support to all two sectors. Wheat has been produced, no vehicle is available for transportation, all the wheat will be rotten on the ground only, it will not reach the factory. Factories are there, but raw materials are not there. From where do they make biscuits or bread if they depend on wheat as their raw material? From where do they manufacture sugar or gur if raw material sugar cane is not transported to the factory? So, who act as a link between primary sector and secondary sector? It is the tertiary sector, and without tertiary sector it is not possible for primary sector or tertiary sector to work. So, all the three sectors of economy, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector, are interdependent, and tertiary sector is the most important because it provides support to all the first two sectors, that is primary as well as secondary. Secondly, since these activities or sector generates or provides service, so this sector is also known as service sector, as they are providing services to us. So, they are known as, so this sector is mainly concerned with providing service, so known as service sector. All the goods that are produced or formed in primary sector and secondary sector, to sell them, all the goods that are produced in primary sector, from the very beginning we are taking the example of wheat. So, wheat, to sell the wheat to the factory owner, to transport it, and after the biscuit or the bread is ready for sale in the market, to advertise that product. All these activities are a part of tertiary sector only. So, all the goods that are produced in primary sector and secondary sector, to sell those products, to transport those products, to advertise those products, all these things are a part of tertiary sector. In tertiary sector, we provide services to others, that is, it includes, so teachers, lawyers, doctors, these all are coming under tertiary sector. Teacher teaching the students, giving service, doctors seeing the patients, curing them, advising them with the medicine, giving service, lawyers fighting different cases on the behalf of the culprit or the people, those who are innocent. So, they are providing him the legal aid or the legal help or the legal service. So, teachers, lawyer, doctors, etc., all these are a part of service sector only. Goods that are produced in primary sector and secondary sector needs to be transported by trucks or trains. I think you must have understood this line now very well, that goods that are produced in primary sector and secondary sector are to be transported from the field on either trucks or from, and if there are more stock of grains, huge stock of grains, it is transported through trains also, and then it is sold in wholesale or retail market. So, in order to reach the goods from factory or from the field, it is the trucks or the trains which gives us service and then only it reaches to the wholesaler, and from the wholesaler it reaches to reach the good from wholesaler to retailer also transportation is needed. So, it finally reaches to retailer or retail market. All these are the job of the tertiary sector. Many times we borrow money or loans from banks. These are the different examples to have a better understanding about all the three sectors by different examples. So, many a times we borrow money from banks as loans in the form of loans to run our business, to run our family, to meet our personal requirements. In recent times, certain new services based on information technology such as internet cafe, ATM, call centers, software companies are also a part of this sector. So, teacher, lawyer, doctor, internet cafe, ATM, banks, call centers, software companies, all these are a part of, all these come under the category of service sector or tertiary sector, because in each case you will see that they are providing services to the, in call center they are providing, whichever company's call center is there, they are providing services to the customer of that particular company. Internet cafe, they are providing to the net surfers services. ATM providing services to the people so that it will be convenient to do the transactions of money. So, and transportation, storage, just like FCI, Food Corporation of India, where the food grains are stored. So, transportation, storage or communication, Airtel, Jio, they are also providing a service and we are the subscriber. Banks, banking are also a part of tertiary sector. So, in this manner I have tried to explain, today I have explained you the first criteria on which we had divide, in which we divide the economic activity into three parts: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector, and we had deal each and every sector in detail with the relevant example. Hope you hope you all have understood the chapter, not the chapter but the concept that we had discussed today in a better manner. Give a reading to the notes again and keep watching the video. We will come up with the part 2 of the sectors of economy very shortly. Thank you so much.